to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Today, we have our final episode in a series of what would Lou do at the end of the year in her business, and it's what I suggest that you do at the end of the year in your business. If you have been following along, you know we have reviewed our finances with Michelle Williams, Peter Lang, and Kimberly Merlitti. Then I gave you a list of questions to sit with yourself and ask as you close the year out, and then we reviewed the importance of marketing and how to establish a budget for any size business. All of these episodes will be in the show notes. Today, I'm going to encourage you to review your technology, subscriptions, memberships, and insurances. I know at one time or another, we have all gotten a renewal notice for an app, a service, a membership, or whatever, and thought, wait, I'm still paying for that? Right? No matter how diligent we are with our books, we do sometimes miss recurring charges and end up paying for things that we don't even remember about. And you know what the Vin Man always says? Sometimes it's not what you make, it's what you don't spend. So let's see if we can save you from some unnecessary spending in 2022, shall we? All right, let's begin with apps. Have you subscribed to things like Audible, MyFitnessPal, Peloton, Pandora, or others that you just aren't using anymore? I want you to do a thorough review and cancel anything that you don't need or you aren't using. $5 here, $12 here, $40 here, it adds up. All right. So just be critical about it. Memberships. Spa type memberships like Massage Envy, European Wax Salon, and the like. Do you pay monthly but haven't gone in years? How about your gym or yoga studio? Do you pay for those and not go? So here's what I want you to do. Either go to your calendar now and block the time for the next year, or face it that you're not going to use them and cancel them. All right? Phone service plan. This is always a great idea, to review your plan every year, and I would say at minimum every 2 years. When we have done this in the past, we have saved hundreds of dollars because the plan that maybe we signed up for was an introductory plan, and then when it ran out, well, let's just say no one at Verizon or T-Mobile exactly calls you to say, hey, you really should switch to this new plan because you're spending a boatload more than you need to, right? I have to say, one time I recommended this to a designer. He really was in a situation where he needed to be very ruthless in his operation expenses. And I suggested that he pull out his phone bill and take a look at it, and to call the carrier and ask about any different type of plan. And I know that when I said this, it was sort of like, well, all right, whatever. But about an hour later, he called me to say that by making that phone call, he was going to save $750 over the next year by just calling his phone carrier service and saying, is there a better plan for me? Okay. So on one hand, $750 is not an insane amount of savings, but let's remember two things. It's your $750 to save and spend on something else. Okay. And also, by the time you add that to all of these other things, it's going to add up. And I would just say also a word to the wise here. If you have a bigger firm with several phones on your plan, this is even more important to do this review of your phone service and the carrier and everything. If you were with us for LuAnn Live way back in 2019, you will recall that Corey Damon Jenkins told us a lesson he learned early in his business that cued him into the importance and the responsibility to always be the one paying attention to the bookkeeping, no matter how large his company became. He told us the story straight from the stage. He said there came a time where he changed bookkeepers, and after a couple of months of that new bookkeeper being on staff, that bookkeeper came to him and said, "What are these two phone bills here? I can't track them to anybody in the firm." Well, he discovered that an old employee had left and had somehow finagled it with the other old bookkeeper to keep her cell phone and her son's cell phone on his bill. Yes. For almost 2 years, he had been paying for both of their phones and he didn't realize it. And so I have to say, this is a dual lesson. And Corey said it to us exactly. No matter how large you get, no matter how big your firm gets, you must be the one to review your invoices. Okay? You're going to put a bookkeeper in place. You're not going to do every single thing, but you have to sit down and make time to review. And I would also say at this time of year, review if there's a better plan for you, but also review that all the phones that are on your plan are supposed to be there. All right. Software programs. Honestly, I have to tell you, I don't even know if the following list I'm going to give you are software programs or apps. Okay. I don't know these things. I tried to Google it, not necessarily, didn't come up with clear answers. What I do know is that while many of these things that I'm going to mention have free versions, I also know that many of them have a paid version. And sometimes we end up doing one or the other. We either end up paying for a version and not using it at all, or we're paying for a version, but we really don't need the paid version. We could be doing with the free version. So I'm just going to run through a list of names that occur to me. ClickUp, Asana, Trello, Canva, Zoom, Hootsuite, Dubsado. Okay? There's not even a chance that I just gave you a comprehensive list. There's no way. There's no way. You have to do your own forensic analysis of this. All right? You have to go and find out what you are paying for. And if you're using it, keep it. If you're not using it, drop it. And if you are using a paid version, at least do the investigation. Because maybe sometimes when you sign up for something like, oh, all those features in that third column, I really need it. But if you've been using it for 6 months or a year or 2 or 3, go look at that comparison to the free and the paid version. Now that you've been using the program, you might be like, I actually don't use any of those features. I can drop the paid version and stay with the free version. Okay. I'm going to take a moment to mention software from another perspective as well. If you are paying for a software that you absolutely know would improve your business, but you have not taken the time to learn it and incorporate it into your business, I want you to commit to doing that now. All right. So for example, this might be QuickBooks or My Doma Studio even. Rather than cancel either of these out of hand, I would much rather you commit to learning them and using them. So even if you signed up a year ago, right, for My Doma Studio, but you really haven't used it, and I have had designers tell me this, okay? I want you to commit to it. I want you to put it in your calendar. If you need to call Sarah Danielli at My Doma Studio and say, hey, lady, my hand's up, help. I need extra help to get this going. I want you to do it. And you tell her, I told you to call, okay? Because My Doma Studio in particular is a game changer for your business. Time tracking, invoicing, client and vendor communication. The time-saving advantage alone of actually using My Doma Studio in your business is well worth the price of the program. So depending on the size of your firm, it's going to be anywhere from $600 to I think $1,500 a year. All right. And that doesn't even include your little bonus, whatever you get for being a listener of the show. Right. So let's do a little math here. If you bill yourself out, or maybe you bill a junior out at $125 an hour. Okay. And if you were using My Doma Studio in your design firm and it freed up just 2 hours a week, which you then convert and spend on billable hours. So 2 hours a week times 50 weeks a year. Let's say you take a 2-week vacation, right? That's $12,500 that you could make on your own hours or an employee's billable hours. Okay, for something that you spend anywhere from $600 to $1,500 a year on, like this is a no-brainer. Okay, so this isn't, hey, I'm not using it, let me cancel it. No. This is, hey, I'm not using it, let me use it. Let me commit to doing it. All right. So if you are new and you don't know who My Domo Studio is, I highly recommend that you look into it. mydomostudio.com/a well-designed business. All right. And I'm going to add here, I feel the same exact way about your gym membership above that I said, if you're not using it, cancel it. In my heart of hearts, I would much rather, instead of you canceling it, I would much rather you use it. I much prefer that you dig deep and commit to using it. Your mind, your body, your health, and your business will all benefit 10 times whatever the membership costs. Okay? So we are also looking at what we're paying for that we know is good for us and our business, but we haven't yet committed to utilizing them to our full advantage, right? This is part of the review too, to review our intentions and our commitments. All right. All right, next on the hit parade is insurances. Do you remember Vita's hard lesson earlier this year? Did you hear the WTF episode number 653, Rising from the Ashes? If you have not, I highly encourage you to revisit this episode. Vita shared with us the story about how her entire office and workroom burned to the ground in an electrical fire. Thankfully, she and all of her employees were safe, but $100,000 in losses in window treatments, in fabric, in shades, in draperies. Okay. And Vita had insurance, but Vita did not collect a dime, right? Now, Vita had paid all of her payments. She made all her premiums. So why did she not collect on the insurance? Well, it turns out the level of coverage that she had on her business was based on when she opened her business years before, not where her business was now. The coverage wasn't enough. And by the way, just like the phone companies, no one was calling her up to say, hey, you keep paying us every month, but this isn't going to be worth jack squat if you actually have a claim. Okay? That's on us. All right. Review your car insurance, review your life insurance, review your health insurance, your business insurance. Okay. And honestly, you'll hear me. I was really hot about her insurance agent being asleep at the wheel. But the fact of the matter is this is our business. This is our life. We are in control. And yes, you can be darn sure that after that conversation, many of us looked at our insurances and reached out to our insurance agent and said, hey, buddy or lady, you need to check in with me every year. Don't just make assumptions to keep taking my money. But the idea and the point is, it is our responsibility, right? It is our business, okay? And this is a royal pain to do this. I know it is, to pull out all these policies, to look at all the levels, to make all the conversations, and to call all of the agents and all the things. But, if this had happened to you and your business, would you be in business today? Or would have to close your doors? You see? Not many of us can ride out $100K in losses. So it's sobering, but it's important. And I highly suggest that you review all of those policies. All right. Credit cards. This is very important to do too. Okay. If you use a credit card to pay everything and then you pay it off every month, are you using a card with the best advantages available for you? Right? Do you get cash back on your purchases? Do you have a low interest rate? What are the things, right? Don't just sign up at willy-nilly for any card. Shop the card. Make sure that you are paying the least amount of fees possible for having the card. If there's a yearly fee for the card, that you're getting the most advantages of it. And if it's got advantages like miles and you don't fly, Well, that's not an advantage, right? Like, so just, take the time. We get bombarded with credit card opportunities like constantly, but open them up and review them and say, that would make me some money over here. That would save me some money over there. All right. And then if you do carry credit card debt, can you move it to a lower interest card? Again, offers coming in all the time. Don't just rip them up and throw them out with the junk mail, especially if you are carrying a significant amount of debt on a credit card. Definitely look to see if you can transfer the balances and then do all the comparisons too, because sometimes the fees for transferring, you got to pay attention, but pay attention, okay? And if you are carrying debt on your credit card, can you be more aggressive in paying them off? I hope to goodness that you're never just paying the minimum. I don't care if you have to just pay $5 more than the minimum, okay? But I would love for you to pay as much over the minimum as you can, all right? You want to try and get them to zero balance if you can, all right? Do the review. Make your money work for you. All right. Online courses. Okay, here's one of the last ones. If you have purchased online courses and downloaded them, but have never opened them, or maybe you watched 5 or 10 minutes and never went back to them, please schedule the time now in your calendar this year to do them. This money is already spent. This isn't money we can get back. This is money you spent. Don't let it be in vain. You worked hard to make that money. At some point, you decided whatever it was you purchased was worthwhile. Now make it work for you. All right. I have to say, at this point in time, this is exactly why LuAnn University classes are all taught live weekly. The thing is, I know how easy it is to get excited about learning a new skill or getting new information and then buying it and then not following through. I did this exactly one time. I spent $795 on a copywriting course, 24 modules. It was a tremendous value. I watched the first 2 modules, which were outstanding. This was the first night I bought it. 5 years later, I've never opened it again. Okay. So the thing is, and it wasn't because it wasn't good. The first 2 were good. The guy who sold the course is a, absolute recognized leader in the industry. I just don't sit down and do it. It's just not the way I operate. So no matter how appealing something looks to me, I always go, whoa, Lou, you got to look in the mirror here. How likely are you to actually follow through and do this course? Okay. So if you've got any courses sitting in your computer and you know that, that would really improve my business if I would just go and open them up and do the work, I want you to please go to your calendar. I don't care if you can't put it in till March. Put it in the second Tuesday of every month from March on. Get it done. The year's going to go by, You went this whole last year without doing it. Don't go the next year. All right. And I would say also regarding LuAnn University, if you are one of the more than 300 designers and window treatment professionals that have taken one or more of our outstanding classes, even though you did attend the classes live, you know that you have access to those recordings forever. So for example, if you took Peter Lang's online bookkeeping class and you need a brush up, you can go into the portal on my website, your private portal on my website, and you can put the time in your calendar and you can revisit the courses. Okay. You can make your money worth even more. All right. And if you haven't heard about LuAnn University, this is a roster of classes where we cover all of the areas that your design education left out. The hard business classes, lessons that you need to be successful. Profit management, sales techniques, bookkeeping, marketing, creating video content, all of it. Check it out at luannuniversity.com. All right. So I want to say, here's the thing. This list is by no means complete. It is a great place to start. And if you do it, it'll take some time. But I know you have other things that need to be reviewed and be reconsidered. Okay? Do your list. Go through every single thing on your credit card statements, your QuickBook ledgers, your checkbook registers, wherever you track and manage your money. Go through it all. Okay? And just like, what is that? Do you even know what that is? Right? Like, what am I paying that for? And do I need it? And yes, I do need it. I have to use it. Do this for yourself. Okay. I have to say, with 4 decades in business, I know without question, every single time we have done this thoroughly, we have found that we were either throwing money away or leaving money on the table. And that's with the Vin Man handling the money. Can you imagine? Okay. So set the time aside each year. All right. And I have to say, this is actually the kind of thing that you can do any time of the year. So if the end of the year feels overwhelming to then put this on your plate, plan to do it annually in whatever month you pick. Just do it. Okay. If you've never done it before, I suggest that you do it sometime between now and January. Okay. But if you've done it here and there and you feel like you got a handle on it or whatever, or even if you do it now and you're just like, man, I don't like to do this at this time of year with all the other things going on, then, schedule it for July. I don't know, schedule it for a half a day, in August. All right. Just do it. Just do it. All right. I hope that you enjoyed this series and that you learned a thing or two. I hope that you figured out a new way to make some money or to save some money. Either one is good with me. And I also want to take a moment to encourage you to take the designer quiz, all right? Especially at this time of year. Go to thedesignerquiz.com. I'm encouraging you to do this now because for whichever level designer business person you are, and it'll work if you're a window treatment professional, it'll work if you're a candlestick maker. Honestly, business is business. You know that, right? When you take the quiz, it's going to suggest that you are at the beginning, middle, or more experienced stages of running your business. This has no reflection on your stage as a creative. Okay. So you can be in business 25 years and you might end up with results that show that you are in the beginning or middle stages. And that just means that you haven't been paying attention to the business side of your business at the level that you could be. All right. But the reason why I'm suggesting that you consider doing this quiz now, if you've not done it before, is because when you do the quiz, I have taken the time to create the questions to the quiz and create the results for the quiz. And when you get the results, it's going to give you, based on the level of business that you're at, business acumen that you're at, it's going to give you a list of 5 things to do today that will make a change in your business. It's going to list 5 things to do this week to make a change in your business. And it's going to give you 5 things to do this month that will make a change in your business. And then it's going to give you a list of 5 podcast episodes to complement the tasks that I'm asking you to do. All right. So if you are ready to just look it in the mirror and see where you're at and make a commitment to being better in 2022, I highly suggest that you do all the things that we have said in the last 4 of these episodes, reviewing your year, and that you do the final thing, which is go to thedesignerquiz.com. All right. As I said, all of the links for all of the things that I mentioned will be in the show notes. All right. That's it for today. As always, I appreciate you. And I appreciate the time you spend with me. I just love what we are doing together here, and I don't take it for granted for not 1 minute. Thank you tons. Decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be, all of that is found at LuAnn Nigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.